Hello everyone and welcome to your free macro training. I cannot wait to educate you on the value of knowing and tracking your macronutrients. Many of you are already familiar with the idea of counting calories, but here's the deal. You can't just count calories. You have to take that a step further if you truly want optimal health. If you are solely concerned about the number on the scale, then counting calories is probably going to work for you. Well, it'll work for you for a little while and then it's not going to work for you anymore. But if you are more concerned about fat loss, if you want to improve your health and your wellness, if you want sustainability, if you want food freedom, if you want to feel in control and have structure in your life, macros matter. We do have a calorie goal that we try to reach every day, but that's just to make sure that you're fueling your body with enough food. However, it is not okay to just meet a calorie goal without also being mindful of the type of calories that you're putting in your body by meeting your macronutrient goal also. So, let's start with the basics. We're going to break it down for you. What is a macro? A macro is short for a macronutrient. Some of y'all are listening to this training and you have never heard that word in your life, and that's okay. Most of my clients enter the faster way and they have absolutely no idea what a macro is. They have no idea how to set up their macros. They have no idea how to track their macros. It is my job, my honor, and my privilege to be able to teach and guide you through those things during our new client experience. All right, so macronutrients. Macronutrients are the large nutrients that make up the food that we eat. That's it. There's three of them: carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. It is really important that we understand the science behind each macronutrient, because when we understand the science behind each macronutrient and we have a good understanding of why we need each macronutrient, you're a lot less likely to fall into the trap of thinking that you need to eliminate one or two of them to have weight loss. Unfortunately, when we believe those things and we hear those strategies and we implement those things into our lives, we damage our metabolism. We damage our hormones, and we don't want that. Our bodies need the right amount of all three macronutrients to truly be able to thrive. To truly have optimal health, we need all three. Your body needs carbs. Your body needs fats. Simple as that. So, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are your body's preferred source of energy. It is the number one place your body goes for fuel. It is what initiates the blood sugar response. We need the blood sugar response to initiate an insulin response. Insulin, as most of you probably remember from health class, is considered the master hormone. That means that it turns on and it turns off most of the other hormones. So estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, all of these things are controlled by insulin. So y'all, carbs are required for optimal hormone health. An example of a healthy carb is a banana. Most fruits actually, a sweet potato, oats, all of those things are healthy carbohydrates. There are other examples of more processed carbohydrates. These are your breads, your pastas, your brownies, many other sweet treats. All of those are kinds of carbs that are not what we focus on the fast roll. We are much more focused on the healthy carbohydrates. Okay, I've always been a little bit suspicious of the diets that say, don't eat a banana, that's going to make you fat, but here you can have a block of cream cheese because that's going to help you lose weight. Always been a little leery of that. So then it just makes sense, y'all. Your body needs carbs. It's your fuel source. It's what's going to actually help you sleep, because when you have energy during the day, you are going to sleep at night. Your body needs the energy from the carbohydrates to thrive. All right, guys? Fats. It's our body's second choice in energy. So they help us absorb nutrients such as fat-soluble vitamins. They help make up our hormones and our brain chemicals. They serve as a buffer to the absorption of those carbohydrates so that we have a much more blunted or moderate insulin response when we consume fatty foods full of healthy fats. It's also important in blood clotting, not to mention it's the food fun reason we all love fats. They give us our flavor and they give great texture to our foods. All right, so that's 1 and 2. We've got fats, we've got carbs. Our third one is protein. Protein is very important. It is what helps us feel full. It is what helps us feel satisfied. And it helps to protect and preserve our lean muscle when the fuel reserves are low. It also helps to build lean muscle when the fuel reserves are high. No one is going to argue about the importance of protein. People will argue till they're blue in the face that you don't need carbs. They're going to argue with you that you don't need fats. But nobody in the health and wellness industry is going to argue that you don't need protein in your diet. But if I was a betting girl, I bet that you are not consuming enough protein, okay? When we consume enough protein, it's going to help us build lean muscle mass. Lean muscle mass is what's going to speed up and rev up your metabolism. This is how we optimize and maximize our fat burning ability, is by having that lean muscle mass, because it will burn more fat at rest. And who doesn't want to burn fat when you're resting? All right, and y'all, the most important thing about protein is that is what's going to give you that body composition change. It's going to make you more lean and toned when you consume enough protein. Okay, guys, so in the Faster Way, we are very conscious of consuming the right amount of carbohydrates, the right amount of fats, and the right amount of proteins, because you need to eat a correct balance of macros so that your body can effectively and efficiently burn body fat. Remember, we want to work smarter, not harder. We want to teach your body to burn fat for you. And if you don't eat enough fat, then your body's not going to burn any fat, okay? And I will also link with this video a macro cheat sheet that's going to have amazing examples of healthy fats, carbs, and proteins, all 3 of your macronutrients. It's going to give you healthy choices for all 3 of those. But here's the deal. Your body needs all 3 macronutrients to function optimally, regardless of what you heard, regardless of what you've been told. I know you've been told carbs are the enemy, or carbs make you fat, or fat makes you fat. Y'all, it's just not true. Fats don't make you fat, and neither do carbohydrates. Truly, in excess of any macronutrient is going to be stored as fat, okay? So, moving on. What does it mean to track your macros? It means to log your food. We calculate how many grams of each macronutrient your body needs, and then we set your goals. And in the Faster Way, we have specific tools that we use to help set those goals, to help log what you're eating, to help calculate what you've eaten and what you have left that you need to eat. And then we have specific tools that we use to help adjust your macro goals along the way. So many of you have tried and you have failed at tracking your macronutrients in the past. And my guess is because you have tracked those incorrectly. You possibly set them correctly in the beginning, but you maybe didn't adjust them when you needed to adjust them. And so you hit a plateau, or it didn't allow for a sustainability. Y'all, in the Faster Way, we set our macronutrient targets. But we do not keep those macronutrient targets the same every single day, every single week, through every single year. We will cycle those nutrients. We are going to do macro mix-ups with our macronutrients. Y'all, listen, your body is very adaptable, which is actually an incredible quality to have, except in the area of fat loss. When you are consuming the same quality of food and the same quantity of food, so you're consuming the same number of calories, you're consuming the same number of macros, your body will adapt and your weight loss will stop. We have to switch it up, and we have to keep your body guessing. We want to switch things up enough so that our bodies don't adapt and start storing that fat. So in the Faster Way, we cycle our macros. Some days we eat less carbs and more fat, and some days we eat more carbs and less fat and moderate amount of protein, and some days we're high fats. But here's the deal. When you consume carbohydrates, when you say eat a banana or some oatmeal, your body transforms that food into glucose. That glucose is then stored as glycogen in your muscles, and this is our first fuel source when your body goes into motion. So many of you are never burning off all of the glycogen that you have stored. You're what we call a sugar burner. You consume a lot of carbohydrates, and you can never completely deplete or use up that glycogen that's stored in your muscles Therefore, you never dip into the fat reserves or the triglycerides because you're not consuming enough of the right kinds of macros. You're too high on carbs or too low on protein or whatever it may be. We strategically pair our food cycle with our fitness cycle to maximize our fat loss results in the faster way. In the faster way, we are cycling these carbohydrates. So we pair these quick and effective 30-minute workouts with our intermittent fasting that you heard me talk about in last week. We cycle those carbohydrates, y'all. It teaches your body to burn fat for you. This is that whole work smarter, not harder thing, okay? Being in a simple caloric deficit will help you lose weight, but it's not going to necessarily help you lose body fat, nor is it really contributing to your overall health, okay? Basically, restricting calories works until it doesn't. You're going to see results. You're going to lose weight when you restrict your calories, but then it's going to stall, at which point you're going to need to further restrict your calories to continue to see results. Y'all, this is not only incredibly frustrating, it is a very hangry way to live, okay? And it's actually very detrimental to your metabolism. Our goal in the faster way is to rev up your metabolism, not slow it down. We do this by fueling your body with the right amount of macros at the right times. It is very important to consider your caloric intake, but only to ensure that you're eating enough food. It is incredibly important that we move past calorie counting because not all calories are created equal. We can simply meet our calorie goal by eating McDonald's. We all know that ain't healthy, okay? We want to eat a balanced, whole food-based diet, and that's how we're going to reach those calorie minimums, okay? We achieve this by being mindful of our macros, our proteins, our carbohydrates, and our fats. Traditional diets typically focus on just a significant reduction of calories. They do not account for the quality of the calories that you're consuming. This typically results in what most people call a skinny fat, okay? You may not look terribly unhealthy, but you're lacking the nutrients that your body needs to fully thrive. This is why I focus in the faster way and with my clients on fueling all of my clients with their specific needs, okay? We customize macros in the faster way, okay? I am very concerned that you're getting enough food. I do not want you to be in a a significant caloric deficit. You're just in a slight caloric deficit, but getting the right amount of macros that you need. When you are in a large deficit, your body thinks it's starving, and it's just going to hold on to every little thing that you give it, and it's not going to burn through it. So instead of being a fat burner, your body is a sugar burner, and that's because you're starving and you're hangry. Y'all, living a lifestyle focused on macronutrients instead of calories, we make room for more of the fun foods that we love and enjoy. So macros do have calories. Macros either have 4 grams or 9 grams of calories each. And if you're getting close to your macronutrient goal, then you are probably getting pretty dang close to your caloric goal also. But counting macros is truly the main focus because that's what ensures that we're eating enough of the right foods at the right times for the right reason. Y'all, this is a type of flexible lifestyle, and it's going to increase your energy. It's going to increase your mood. It's going to increase your sleep quality. It's going to decrease bloat. It's going to improve your overall health. Some of the biggest mistakes that I see people make when they start tracking their macros is, one, they set their macros incorrectly. Most of the time, people set their macros entirely too low, and all that's going to do is decrease your metabolic rate, okay? Sometimes their macro splits are incorrect. You've got too much fat and not enough carbs or too much protein. There is not a universal one-size-fits-all example. So you could go into MyFitnessPal or some other macro tracking tool. You could use their model. You could set up your macros. I guarantee you it's not going to be accurate for your body's specific needs. I would like to highly encourage you to not do that. We want to make sure that you're getting enough food, okay? These just umbrella tools are not going to be custom to the way your body needs to be fueled. Your macros will be set inaccurately. You're probably not going to be cycling them. You do need to be adjusting your macros periodically as your metabolism changes. Like I said, in the fascia, we are speeding up your metabolism. So once we speed up your metabolism, guess what? You need more food. We need to further increase your macros once your metabolism speeds up. Every single person listening right now, without fail, is going to require a different amount of macros a year from now than they do right now. Our bodies are constantly changing. We are constantly evolving, and our nutritional needs need to keep up with the way that if we want to continue to see results and thrive long term. So I typically tell my clients in about week 5 or week 6 that it's not a matter of if we change your macros, it's a matter of when we change your macros. And we change your macros up based on a series of questions. We'll take some measurements, we'll assess your sleep levels, your energy levels, and then we'll just adjust your macros accordingly. You cannot simply set your macros up today and use those same macro targets for years to come and expect to continue to see results. All right, another mistake that I see people make is they do not log their beverages when they're tracking their macros. You drive through the drive-thru at Starbucks and you don't log those macros, or you're drinking alcohol. Now, alcohol is a little tricky because it doesn't necessarily have any nutritional value to it, but you still need to learn how to log it accurately because you have to count it in your food log. Okay, so you have to track those beverages. Another mistake that I see is people miss the mark on serving sizes. You're tracking, but you're just not tracking accurately. There's a way that you can estimate or guesstimate your serving sizes based on your hand. We just did a training with this with my VIP girls. You can use your fingers and you can use your palm to more accurately track your macros and guesstimate a little bit closer. Another big mistake I see, and we've kind of already touched on this, is you're not cycling your macros and you're not pairing your macros with effective workouts. Like I said, we already talked about this some. But in the fascia, we strategically bump up overall macros. Sometimes we strategically bump down your macros. Sometimes we cycle our carbohydrates, meaning some days we have high carbs and sometimes we have low carbs. Sometimes we'll say, you know what, it's a rest day, so let's dial it back a little bit. Let's take those macros down some. Or, hey, it's Saturday, it's a heavy leg lifting day. We're going to bump up our macros today. All right, so I'm going to help you learn to listen to your body so that you can learn what your body needs to thrive and what you need to feel your best. You need to listen to your body, consider the activities that you're doing and how that affects your need for fuel and thus your macros. All right, moving on. The most frequent thing I hear when we start talking about tracking macros is how intense it feels to start having to log every single thing you put in your mouth. How daunting it feels to have to input every single thing. Okay, truly, tracking and logging is not difficult. Yes, there is a learning curve as there is with any new concept that you're trying to learn. I'm not going to water that down. But all new concepts are going to take a little bit of time to understand initially, okay? I do not expect you to understand how to hit your macros when we start. The cool thing about the Faster Way is we give you a meal guide. We give you the food log, okay? And then we send you on your way. So it's a regular macro or it's a low macro or it's a feast day or whatever it is, the meal guide is going to set you up for success. It's going to set you up to hit those goals. But like I said, everyone's goals are different. So you may have to add in a snack here or there to hit your specific goals. But in the new client experience, we are just learning. We're learning how to accurately track your food. We're learning how to accurately log your food. And I am with you every step of the way to make sure that you succeed. Okay, tracking your macros can offer an extreme amount of freedom because it offers you structure. And structure equals freedom. Okay, think of it like a family budget. You wouldn't just go spending willy-nilly, swiping that card without any kind of structure of a budget and expect your savings account to increase, okay? A budget gives you structure and gives you freedom, okay? The structure in your nutrition is the same thing, okay? It's the key to freedom. It takes the weight off of your shoulders when you track macros. When you once and for all understand these cutting-edge technologies to help you burn fat and change your body composition, it's going to help you maintain this long term so you do not have to track your macros daily. Once you learn what your body needs, you can practice what's called intuitive eating. You will be able to know what your body needs without having to track and log everything you put in your mouth. But you have to learn and you have to practice these strategies before it becomes second nature to you. Tracking macros is not for everyone forever, but tracking macros is for everyone for a short period of time. This is just to make sure you're fueling your body with enough of the right macronutrients. Okay, so having this structure and logging your macros is really not meant to be restrictive, because when you're being mindful of the quality of food that you're consuming, and you're not just concerned about the quantity of food that you are consuming on a regular basis, it gives you a bit of freedom. Because when you're aware of how you're fueling your body, then you can learn to make room for the fun foods and you can have your treats without guilt. All right, gang, I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a better understanding of what a macro is and why we log them and how we use them in the faster way. If you want to get started with me in my next round, I would love to have you. You can just go to my website, which is fasterwaycoach.com/#AMPeeler. I would love to help you get set up in tracking your macros. You are absolutely going to thrive on this program. It is the very best. It is the very best fat loss program on the market today. It is healthy, it is sustainable, and it is an incredible community that I would love for you to be a part of.